Finally, let's take a look at the sports being offered and the expenses and compare it to the different revenues. Um, Obviously, baseball and basketball on the men's side are the two sports that are going to generate the most revenue for the university. They do cost a little bit more expense wise, but the university is getting something in return for them. So it wouldn't make sense to cut those programs on the women's side as well for basketball. Another one is field hockey for women. It costs around $270,000 in expenses on average and brings in about $21,200. And the other big ones for revenue include soccer is at decent amount. It costs for men and women about $300,000 and brings in about $14,000 on average for both. And on the other hand, sports such as golf and tennis, while these sports are important, they tend to cost a lot of money and do not bring in a lot of money. For example, men's tennis costs around $114,000 in expenses and brings in about $5,000. And on the women's side, it costs about $116,000 and brings in only about $3,400 per year. In golf, on the women's side, the expenses are about $106,000, and in return, they're only receiving about $7,000. On the men's side, a little bit more. It's about $110,000 in expenses, and revenue-wise, it's about $13,100. So on the men's side, it might make sense to keep golf. On the women's side, however, it doesn't seem to be that substantial to keep it. So in conclusion, looking at the different roster sizes, it would make more sense for the university to add more players to each team and split up the scholarships throughout. That seems to be the trend in the participation rate for 2015. For the median of Division II, Hartsville has a lot lower on roster size as compared to that. So my suggestion would be to add more players to the rosters. And it would make sense to look at each sport a little bit more specifically to see if the money going towards those sports such as tennis and golf could be put into basketball, baseball, softball, and other sports that are generating more revenue to potentially bring in more revenue in the future and not have to spend it on those other sports as well.